sex. Oh my God. Why must we write the sex? Should we write the sex?
And let's talk about love and feeling alright. And let's talk about love. Yeah.
Hello, I'm JLD, author of Spicy Romance. I also offer services that help coach you through your writing journey all the way to publication, including editing and even cover design. Links are below. Check out my website, barnowlbooks.net. Why must we write the sex? Should we write the sex? I actually have a video on that coming up. But I want to actually talk about why we're nervous about it. Why are we so nervous about writing sex? Why is it such a stigma? Because it is. And it's, I can say this speaking from personal experience. I was incredibly jittery publishing my first book. Not publishing it, but like describing it. Or trying to I felt obligated to warn people that there was explicit content inside. And then I thought, oh God, they're going to think I'm a dirty bitch. Oh no. And how do I tell my mother? Is she going to read this? And that was plaguing me the whole time I was writing it too. Because I'm like, oh my God, my mother's going to read this. And newsflash, your parents have had sex. So it's not like they aren't reading something they don't understand. But then you think, well, I'm an innocent little cherub. You're not though. And they probably know that by now, especially if you're middle-aged ish like me and married. If you have children, you probably understand the mechanics of it. Your parents probably know that you know. So, why do we get so nervous about it? That's something I really want to talk about. One of the things I think that trips us up, well, I have a list. I love lists. Lists are my friend. I love lists. And there were two, well, it's funny because I had like five things come to mind, but the first three I think were the most important. And I'll just go down the list. So the first one is social judgment, because we're very concerned about people thinking we're dirty. I mean, anything with sex in it is called dirty. It's got all these evil connotations and undertones. Like it's this, we're like these seething little hunchbacks in the corner writing sex. Hey, I'm writing something dirty. And it's, come on. You know that's not how it's going. And you know that isn't true, especially if you're called to write it. And I say called to write it because it is part of inspiration. Some of us don't need to write it or aren't called to write it or don't enjoy writing it, and that's fine. This video is not for you. But if you feel like it just feels like part of your natural story, part of the natural progression for your characters, which is how it happened for me. Like I was writing my first book. I had no intention of writing open door sex on page at all. And when I got to the first love scene, I just kept going and kept going. And before I knew it, I was in it and I went, what am I doing? Why is this happening? I feel like, and I deleted. I'm like, no, 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 delete, delete, delete. I'm not that person. I'm not a dirty person. I'm not naughty. I'm a nice person. Because I guess like people who write sex are bad. I don't know. So I was like, no, 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 no. And then I kept trying to go with my story. And then I was like, I'll come back to that scene because I don't know how to cinch that up. So I just let it go. And I kept writing the book. And then I went back to that scene. I'm like, I have to make this flow somehow. So I started writing it again. And one thing led to another. And before you know it, I'm halfway through an actual penetrative love scene. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm here again. Like I couldn't stop myself. And it's not because maybe I'm a little bit of a dirty bird, but it's not. It wasn't because I was trying to be filthy. And that's another word that's associated with sex. Dirt, filth, um sin. I mean, there's so many negative connotations for such a beautiful thing. And I began to really self analyze and I began to think, what is my motivation for doing this? And personally, and I won't go into it, but my motivation was I kind of needed to because it was a healing thing for me. I was going through some personal stuff, and to type it all out and take myself through the process consciously and purposefully kind of changed my life. And I don't mean that lightly, and I don't mean that naughty. There's another word. It's like how it's like we're so programmed to think about sex scenes in negative, dirty words that are so down-putting that we can't even say why most of us are obsessed with it in the first place. The God's honest truth is we all love sex, we all enjoy sex, we obsess about sex, a lot of us. And when we finally find a good partner for it, you just want to do it all the time. And why? Because it's fun, it's pleasurable, it's bonding. More than that, it bonds your spirit with somebody, and it's sacred and it's beautiful. And then if you use it to play in your normal life, you're say you're single and you're searching with your body, like that's okay too. In my book, some people may disagree, and that's perfectly fine. We are all on our own journey with that. But it's the same thing with writing. Sometimes you just need to go there, and it's very healing. And it also helps you explore why it's not dirty, why it isn't filthy, why it's not this naughty, awful, trod upon thing. It's a beautiful, enlightening, bonding experience that can help people grow, help people come together. And that's what romance, erotica writing, and romance smut and spice is all about. It's all about the beauty of it. And the thing about writers who are brave enough to take that leap is they don't shy away from that. So I really honor that and respect that. The other thing that is really hard about why we're nervous about sex scenes, and this was especially true for me because I came from a very disciplined background in this, is religion, religious judgment. Anybody who is part of a church, some churches are a lot more strict than others. And I'm just going to talk about it because I think we should. We need to talk about these things because if we keep them hidden, we're just going to ball up and get upset inside. And I'm looking for people to be freer and more expressive and comfortable, especially in their own skin. And as a writer, you have to be comfortable in this skin to write about someone else's skin. Okay. So I grew up in a very, very strict church, and it was sex was very frowned upon. It was within the bonds of marriage, and it was um, like people got kicked out if anybody found out. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Girls got kicked out if they were found out to have had relations with a boy. The boys weren't kicked out, just the girls. So there's a lot of judgment, and there's many religious places where it's strict enough where if you start exploring sexually before you're married, you get ousted. And then because it's so rigid and judgmental, and it's this oppressive, like sex is this big oppressive responsibility. And I grew up in the church where it was this thing. And by the time I was old enough to even have it, um, I was scared of it. I was terrified of it. I was like, what do I have to do? It was like a responsibility. And because it was always wife, submit to your husband, responsibility thing, make children, responsibility thing. And it was never about pleasure. It was never about your own natural body responses or your hormones or your mental state or your energy or anything. It was responsibility, your responsibility to God, your husband, your children, and before that, it's your responsibility to your father and the church and the priest and everybody that you can't disappoint them, and you have to be pure. And it's very intimidating and it's scary. And to transcend that as I did, because I did leave that church and I transcended that and I went, God created me as a pleasureful being. Eating is pleasurable. Smelling fresh air or fire smoke is pleasurable. Being out in the wind and feeling a breeze on your face is pleasurable. An ocean tide on your ankles is pleasurable. There are so many beautiful experiences in this world that are pleasurable, and sex is one of them. It's the best one. And God created that too. So why do we hate it so much? Why is it so stomped upon? And I kind of thought maybe it's just about control. And I'm not going to get into a philosophical or a religious discussion at all. That is not my purpose here. But I understand the mentality of those of us who have grown up in a religious way, that it's a taboo, you know? And so it's frightening and scary, and I get it. I really, really do. The other thing is being embarrassed. And if you now, since I've left the religious sect many, many moons ago, and am now more of a heathen. But then it's the embarrassment part. It's writing again. I'm going to use words like filthy, naughty, dirty, because that is what people say. Um, and which is another reason why I don't like the word smut. It just feels like it's in that tone of vocabulary. I prefer spicy. I used to say erotica, but I guess that's a bit heavier than what I write, so I'm just going to avoid that now. But for spicy things, it can be a little embarrassing because we are talking about all the pink parts, everything that enters and exits, all the things, and describing the most intimate act between two people. Male, female, male, male, female, female, zucchini and budding orchid. I don't care if you're green, purple, or aligned with the moon goddess of Zed Reticuli. I really do not care. Whatever that is, whatever is happening, it is still a very intimate thing. And it's a sacred thing, and I honor that very much. I am a very spiritual person, but we do get embarrassed because our society, and this is like the three corners of why it's sort of taboo to talk about or write about and get nervous about sexual writing or sex scenes in general, is the sacred trilogy of society, religion, and embarrassment, and it just all goes together, doesn't it? There's our society has certain expectations and points of view that are permeating everything. They permeate everything, and whether we agree with them or don't agree with them, we are still in that level of seeking acceptance within our society, within our group. And I that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with decorum and appropriateness, but I also feel that there's nothing wrong with allowing the other more intimate things to be known and be written and talked about. Uh, a lot of people are saying that, and I actually am planning a video on this, that smut writers are ruining literature, and I have feelings about this. I will be addressing this. But to say that is like saying that having a sex scene in a movie, or several in a movie or TV show, Game of Thrones comes to mind for some freaking reason, that's ruining film. It's ruining television because sex is in it. Stop. For real, stop. Shut your mouth. Spicy literature is not ruining fucking literature. No more than Game of Thrones ruined fucking television. Everybody calm down. I will get to that in another video. I told you I had feelings. So, one of the reasons we get embarrassed about writing spicy scenes is that we are exposing ourselves, because we always think as writers, my friends are going to read this, my family's going to read this. Oh my God, they're going to know what a naughty little bitch I am. Or maybe they're going to be like, wow, that's really imaginative. I wish I'd have thought of her. But honestly, the best medicine is to find your sense of humor about it. But it is kind of exposing. It's like, yeah, I actually do know about that little trick thing that you can do with your when you. Yeah, I know about that. hmm and I wrote it out. So in case you don't know about it, you can learn how to do that. Which you never know. It might help. It might be a nice thing. um, a lot of people, like I was talking about before, it's like dirty, naughty, filthy. Why are we still, I mean, it is, as of this recording, oops, God, I hate when I boop my microphone. No boops. As of this recording, it is December 2025. Why are we still equating one of the most beautiful, wonderful gifts in the universe to something that is filthy or dirty or gross or naughty. I just it's funny when you're tongue in cheeking, like, "Oh, give me all the filth, ha ha ha. Give me a book recommendation with all the filth." Adorable. But when there's judgment coming down, and we do all feel it as spicy writers, we feel that judgment of like, "Oh God, I'm one of those people," you know. Loud and proud. I write spice. I write explicit sex scenes, and I love them. I think they're beautiful. I think that if young girls and young boys had healthy conversations, not necessarily with each other when they're underage, but with adults about healthy sexual relationships and actions, we would probably be a much healthier society, if I'm being honest. And none of this would be embarrassing. None of it would be gross or icky or filthy or any of that. If we could learn how to embrace all of this, which is a gift from the whatever created us, and embrace it fully in a healthy way, I think we'd all be a lot better off. We'd have a whole lot less illness out there. So, education, acceptance, I mean, that's kind of part of the reason a lot of people write spice. Some of it write it for fun, some of it, what am I saying? Some people write it for fun, and I have too. I have a whole book like that. Like I think 50% of it is super spicy, and it's a novella. It's really thin. It's a quick read. It's a silly afternoon read. It's meant to be fun. It's entertainment. It is. It's just meant to be fun. And why can't we have fun with it? Who said we can't have fun with it? I will support you if you want to have fun with it. The other thing is, I think we just have so much shame around it, which is again, it's societal, which I think actually really stems from a lot of or original religious oppression of churches saying this is dirty and naughty and horrible, and you're a filthy little nasty person if you like these things. And I just don't agree with that at all. I would like to say that it's okay to be turned on. There have been books and books and books written about priesthoods and religious figures and sacred people who cannot help themselves because it is a natural state of this body to be turned on when in the presence of someone they're attracted to. The Scarlet Letter, anybody? Literally, two people went insane because they weren't supposed to have sex and they did, and it fucked them both up and their kid, by the way. Read that book. It is a very good book. But that is to me the epitome of ultra super religious societal judgment, and in the denial of what this beautiful gift is. It is okay to be turned on. It's okay to show the most important things about our life, which is love, falling in love, relationships. And on a lighter side, less romantic, your family, your coworkers, your friends. All of these relationships are so important, but your romantic relationship is the most important one of those. And your sexual relationship with your partner is the most important part of that relationship. And you have to nurture and love it. And there is nothing naughty or dirty or filthy or blah, blah, blah about that. Do we write about it? Yes. What's wrong with it? It's part of life. It's okay to be sexy. It is okay to be turned on. It is okay to read about sex. And the what people will say, well, how can it be okay if you're writing about something so filthy? Well, television and movies have been progressing towards sexier content. Does that make it right? I don't know. It's art. What is right about art? Art goes the gamut. There are plenty of movies and TV shows that don't have it, but the one or two that do, and especially the one or two or three or four that are very, very explicit, I don't think that's a bad thing. Why is that bad? And that is all that romantic and spicy writers do. All we do is we do not fade to black. We don't turn our backs on it. We face it. It's the bravest thing you can do as a writer, to face it, to bring your reader through it, to show them the most intimate moment of these characters, what they say, what they do, how they learn, how they grow. And yeah, that does happen in a lot of these scenes. They are important to the plot, they are important to the character growth. Why? Because that happens to us as human beings. We have had moments of growth, of bonding, of realization when we have had intimacy ourselves. That's why it's important. That's what makes it real. And that's what makes it okay, because it is only a piece of the whole of being a human being. Now, smut writers and spicy writers, it's not just a whole, people think, oh, the whole book is a sex scene. No, there are just maybe two or three, less or more, however many, they're just scenes in the book. The rest of the book is actually a story about people learning, growing, bonding, falling apart, laughing, trying to figure their life out, trying to get a new job, trying to blah 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 blah. All the things about life. In the main thrust of it is the romance of these people, and we don't stop the camera rolling when they make love. So what? So don't a lot of other movies. And people sit there and go, that was a great movie. I really love that. But you have a book with it and they're like, oh my God, this is ruining literature. Oops, damn, I bumped. Sorry, I keep bumping my microphone. It's ruining literature. And I just can't stop. We we are nervous because our audience and people who judge us pointing the finger at us going, you're the reason the downfall of society is happening. Oh my God, you're worried about sex? The most natural fucking thing ever? That's the downfall. Wait, excuse me. If it weren't for sex, none of y'all would be here. So don't tell me that writing about it is the downfall. It's literally the creation of it. So can we all just take a step back and a nice deep breath? Better? Good. So the last thing I want to talk about is that because it is a bit of an awkward subject and an intimate, and especially for the writer, it's deeply personal. A lot of us are worried about, is it any good? Am I writing well? And it's hard enough to write to be concerned about any of your writing being good writing, but especially when you're talking about pumping uglies, we get double paranoid about that. So I can understand that too. So is it any good? Did I fuck up the sex scene? Is it a good sex scene? Is anybody interested in the sex scene? Does it? It's kind of well, this does kind of touch on a bit of an ego point. A lot of people wonder if they're good lovers. And so if you're writing a shit sex scene, does that mean you're a bad lover? And have you just put it on page and told everybody how much you suck at it? This is why we have alpha and beta readers. Also, read other people's work, read their work, get inspiration, get ideas, see what, I hesitate to use the words industry standard, but I mean, read other people's work. If you've never read a smut book, but you're considering writing a sex scene in your own book, may I suggest that you read a book or 3 or 4 that is a spicy book to understand what people do, what's normal. It actually made me feel a lot more normal reading other spicy books because I thought, oh my God, I am such a freak. Oh my God. And then I read some spicy books and I'm like, I am not a freak at all. Actually, this shit is way vanilla. Because some of that stuff is damn. So don't be too scared. Just go with it. Go forth. And if you're worried about it, ask a friend or a trusted writing buddy about it. But we're very vulnerable when we write about things like that. It is our most vulnerable stuff. But don't be so scared. I mean, I've noticed that people have no problem watching or reading about really horrible, grotesque violence, dismemberment, skinning alive, drawing and quartering, just horror movies, body horror. There's so much violence, and war movies, just to name a few, is so totally accepted, but the most beautiful, intimate, wonderful thing we can do with each other is frowned upon. And I just don't accept that. I find that if we should, well, I think we should write more beautiful things. If your book encompasses all of it, go forth, do all the grit, do it. But I find it a little bit of a hypocritical point of view to say, it's okay to show a viscerally disturbing war story, but writing about people falling in love and have a couple sex scenes in it is filthy. We need to talk. I find that problematic. So I just want to remove the stigma from it. I know it's scary to do. I went through quite a process of accepting that I did it at all, that I wrote this at all. And now I'm having so much fun with it. And honestly, it has helped me heal a lot from past things that I will not talk about right now, but it has given me the biggest band aid that I ever needed. And I am very grateful for it. So I am a huge supporter of the fun, of all the stank, all the filth, all the grit, all the bad connotations. But you know what I'm really a fan of? Love, healthiness. I'm a fan of beautiful touch, of how people react when they're in love. I'm a fan of pleasure. And that's what we do, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So stop guilt tripping yourself. If this is what you want to write it. If it's not your bag, that's okay too. And I'll get into should you, shouldn't you, right? But I just wanted to address why we get so nervous about it. And I wanted to comfort you and let you know you're not alone. We've probably, well, I can't say speak for everybody, but I've struggled with it. And I was nervous too, very. I still am. But I also know it's something beautiful. And why should I be scared of beauty? I'm not going to be scared of beauty. I'm not going to shy away from it. And God knows if anything I put in there can help someone else be more comfortable in their own skin, I'm going to damn well do it. I'm JLD, and thank you for visiting my hotspot.
And let's talk about love. And feeling alright, and let's talk about love.